Hey, I'm Charlie from Sandhouse here with Keith Silverstein. How are you doing today?
Hi, I am doing very well. Thank you. Thank you.
Incredible. Right. First of all, what's your first musical memory?
Oh man, going way back. I'm sure it was having some sort of lullaby sung to me or something. It's probably my first. Let me see. I know I started getting into music when I was like 7 years old, like really getting into it. What was popular at the time, and I really liked the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Yeah.
And that and some musicals and stuff at the time. Like I'm not sure the years, but like that, I know I was really into Grease when that came out. Um, so those are some of the earlier memories I have when I was super into it. I mean, the truth is, I had a little record player as a kid, like a toy little kid's record player, and I had like Star Wars records and I don't know, all kinds of little fun like Mickey Mouse records and Disney movies that
Oh,
you would turn the page, it would go, you'd hear a little bit of the movie and it would go
yeah.
boop, and it would tell you to turn the page.
Oh, wow.
So I had that, and I had all kinds of different songs that were kids' songs, like Old MacDonald and stuff, and I used to play that on my own. So
Wow,
I
wow.
do remember that. You're making me go down memory lane here. I'm pulling things out of my memory.
It's probably going to happen for a little bit more and then we'll move on, don't worry.
No, it's all good.
Do you remember the first piece of music that you bought?
The first piece of music that I bought. Uh, you know what? I think it was probably the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. I mean, there's a few earlier purchases. Like one of the things that stands out to me is, I don't know if any of the listeners are going to know this, but there used to be this thing, maybe there still is, called the Columbia Record House. And you would get this magazine basically, and you would be able to like pick 12 CDs for $1.
Oh,
And they would mail those CDs to you, but you had to promise to buy 12 more at regular price within like a year,
oh wow.
basically. So that was the deal. And I remember like scouring through that to try to pick things that I liked, and I knew like, oh, I like this and I like that. And I got the weirdest assortment. I remember I got a couple Devo
Well,
albums, which I really do like Devo, but I don't know why I chose that. But I ended up loving it. Like I love a ton of Devo songs now as an adult, but it was that I got like the Charlie Daniels Band because I knew that song "Devil Went Down to Georgia" and I thought that
oh,
was so amazing. So whatever that album was, I got that. I got like an Olivia Newton-John album, Pat Benatar. I got all like a weird eclectic mix of stuff, and it's funny because a lot of that stuff like I still like until now. I don't buy the stuff, but I have it looping on my iPhone every now and then.
amazing. What was the first show you ever went to?
For any show, I mean, you're talking about a concert, right?
Or a theater production, whatever.
I don't know if I think like for theater production, I think my grandma took me to a couple things. I think she took me to A Christmas Carol when I was young. I think that was one of the earlier shows that live performances I saw. She took me to the Alvin Ailey dance troupe. And that was cool. Trying to think of really early ones. As far as like concerts, I went to the first Fresh Festival, which was like Houdini and Run DMC.
Oh wow.
Oh God, who else was performing? I don't think Beastie Boys performed. I don't think they were. But it was like the first, like I was spinning on my head, break dancing and stuff, and
Oh
it was
wow.
in Long Beach, and I remember it was a huge deal. I was super, super hyped. I had a great time. It was amazing until the very end when I was so young. My dad had to come and pick us up, and he picked us up right on the curb. And when we opened the door to the van that he was driving, he had like classical music just
Oh
blasting.
no.
And I was like, "Oh, Dad, no!" Because I was, young. I was like, "Dad, no! Ah, we walked over so cool. We already had to get into this blue and white van. Then you did that."
Ah,
So that's one of the first ones, and then Purple Rain. Purple Rain concert's another for me, one of the earlier ones for me.
ah. What's your favorite snack or soft drink?
I'm a big fan of Captain Crunch for snacks. I know that's a cereal. I don't know if that counts as a snack, but it is. I'm a fan of Captain Crunch. Regular, not the peanut butter. I don't need any of the pink berries. I don't need that stuff. I don't need the berries at all. I don't want Oops All Berries. Just the tried and true original OG. And I like Snapple iced teas. I don't drink them often, but I do love them.
When you class Captain Crunch as a snack, are we talking bowls at a time, not in the morning, or are we talking handfuls from the box?
You know what? I can do either, but I'm an almond milk guy, so I mean, I'm one of those guys. I don't like my cereal to get soggy.
Oh yeah.
So what I do is I get a small bowl, a really small bowl, and I like fill like 14 or 15 bowls up, and I just eat it. Boom, 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 boom. I can put as much milk in as I want because I'll just keep pouring cereal back over it when I finish the cereal, and that way it's always crispy no matter what.
Huh?
Yeah, I know. You wanted an answer. You got it. This is like a quiz show.
Oh.
You're right, Keith. That is your favorite snack. Yes! I knew it.
You got a point. Right. What's your favorite thing about being a voice actor?
What is my favorite thing? You know what? I've always been a fan of cartoons since I was as far back as I could remember. So to be able to be a part of any type of cartoon, whether it be anime, original animation, things on the internet, is insane. And on the flip side of that coin, because it's either that pretty much or video games, I've been a video game fan. I still have an Atari 2600. I used to go to the arcade and play Pong and pinball machines and Battlezone and Asteroids, all these early games. So I've seen really the whole entire evolution of the video game from before there were talkie games to now, of course, where so many of them have more dialogue than feature films do. So to be a part of that for me is, I mean, I'm kind of a pop culture junkie. So to be in any little way a part of that, it's pretty amazing to me because once it's done and it's out there forever. And every once in a while I do have to pinch myself how lucky I am just to be able to do something I love and care about it that much. So.
You mentioned that you've sort of seen the evolution of it as a media. You've been in the industry too for quite a lot longer than I've been alive.
Wait, that can't be right. Is that true?
I was born in 97.
Wow.
How do you get?
That's about when I started, I guess. I think I started in 2000. Really started doing some work, I think, in 2000.
How do you get involved, especially when the industry was so small compared to how big it is now? How do you get involved in that kind of business?
It was a bit of trial and error for me. I mean, the first thing that I had, I was kind of throwing around a lot of ideas. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like, I'm going to be a dancer. I'll be an artist. I'll draw things. I'll be a rapper. I'll be an actor. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was focused on a million things and getting nothing accomplished. My uncle called me up and he said, I know you do voices and stuff, and I'm going to do this documentary on some of this artwork that I've created, and I want this poetry to be read in various voices. So I auditioned for that and ended up being able to play a number of characters for that. And we went into a real studio and we recorded. There was an actress that I was working with, and the whole thing kind of just blew me away. Just that, this is like, people do this. Like, people really do this. Like, this is their day in and day out thing, different projects, different voices. And so immediately after that, I started looking around for classes. I signed up for a class that got canceled, but I stuck with it. I mean, before it started, they're like, not enough people signed up, so that's not happening. So I kept doing research and I kept pushing at it. And then even when I started taking classes and getting a demo together, it was a while. It was a while before I got an agent or made any sort of, connection. The first, what I consider real gig for me is I lucked out through a connection. A buddy of mine, my buddy Charlie Puzo, was doing some production work on Chuck Jones production for Warner Brothers. And it was called Thomas Timberwolf.
Yep.
And I was able to I got the opportunity to audition for Stephen Fossati, who was kind of running the show and directing the show. And he was like, yeah, we can definitely use you. So I started working on that. And that was really, really, really amazing to work on an original. I mean, I got to play five or six original Chuck Jones characters on this internet cartoon. You can still find them. I think they're up somewhere on the internet, not officially, but someone's got them up there somewhere. But that was like the first real gig. And I was like, I absolutely need to keep doing this. So.
How do you discover, because you mentioned that your uncle was like, yeah, I know you do voices. How do you discover that you can do these things with your voice? Because a lot of people can't.
When I was young, when I was in about fourth grade, my best friend at the time, Mike Lane, he and I, we used to hang out. He lived a few houses down, and we would do audio tapes This is what we did. So we would basically be chilling in his room or my room, and we just push play and record, and we would just create scenarios. We weren't trying to sound cool necessarily, but we did impressions and did different things, or just made little stories, and we would just goof around. And then when we were done and the tape clicked, usually we'd use like all 45 minutes of that tape. Then we could always, anytime we felt like just getting giddy and goofing around, we could just listen to it and laugh at ourselves. So we had done all kinds of goofy, alien voices and monster voices and bad guy voices and demon voices. And it just happened while we were doing it. So it was kind of natural. And I took theater and stuff when I was in high school. And so, it became clear that it wasn't, I don't know that I was a master at that. I mean, I remember I had other friends at school who were like really good at impressions. I was like, wow, that's so cool. So I definitely didn't put myself in that category, but I knew I did some and I was capable of it. So. Yeah, so I mean that helped me pursue it, I guess.
Well, have you ever been asked to sign anything really weird?
I've signed swords, mannequin heads, arms. What were some? Napkins. I don't know, weird stuff. I mean, probably the mannequin head. I'm trying to think of other things. I think I've signed a banana once. I don't know. People sometimes are just funny, and they're just, at conventions, they're just like, yeah, I want you to sign this. And, I don't care for the most part. No one's brought anything to me yet that I was like, whoa, I'm not signing that. I mean, someday it'll happen, but so far it hasn't.
Don't say that. People might take it as a challenge.
I look forward to that day when I'm like, no, hell no. I am not signing that.
Would you recommend voice acting as a career?
I would, but not just to anyone. It is, first off, you got to deal with, it's hard to get into the industry. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of rejection. I don't mean in a negative way there's rejection, but I mean, you audition a number of times. You may only book, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30. I mean, it depends what you're auditioning for. So you got to be able to deal with that. The schedule it's not a 9 to 5 that you can plan on. This is when I'm going to work. A lot of times we get a call the night before or a couple nights before, for a session a day or two away, or just, can you come in tomorrow? Can you come in tonight? So you have to, scheduling is kind of weird. You have to be open to that. And it's not the kind of career you can really have a trajectory, if that makes sense. I mean, you don't know what you're going to book yet and how successful you're going to become. You just go with the flow. Like, you might be like, hey, I want to do just animation and I just want to play the heroes. That's what I want to do. But you may not fall into that niche. You may be playing villains, and you may be have to also do video games, and or maybe you get really successful doing radio commercials and you barely book any animation. So you got to be kind of open to that and go where your career takes you, I think. But if you love it, if you truly want to do it, and you're determined and you're talented, then by all means, I mean, I think it's one of the greatest jobs in the world.
You just mentioned with the heroes and anime thing, there's so many different sort of varieties of roles, but you've pretty much done it all. You've done TV, you've done video games, you've done anime. I'm not going to ask you to pick a favorite character. I feel like that's a bit cruel. But...
It is always cruel. It's. I mean, I have ones that I enjoy.
Well, this is it. Do you have a favorite voice to do, or a voice which you think is most fun?
A voice that's most fun. I don't know. We all have like voices that we fall into and stuff, I guess. I don't know that any are more fun. I could talk about series. Like right now I'm working on a show, an anime called Hunter x Hunter, and I play Hisoka in that. And he's like therapy. He's a real freaky character. And he's like, well, it looks like that poor man's arms have turned to flower petals. And he's real, like, I don't know. He's got this weird, sensual, bizarre, real confidence that oozes from him, which is very creepy, is how it comes off most of the time. But I find that I leave those sessions and I just feel very, just like very satisfied with that. Was good. I'm glad I got that out of my system. Yeah. I don't love the voices that are just screamy, yelly stuff. I mean, that doesn't mean they don't have a place, but I might like them for some reasons, but they're difficult and they're hard on the throat. I like doing cutesy stuff. I don't do that as much. I don't know if I have a favorite I like going big like this too. I don't know. It's all
Oh
good.
wow.
I don't know if I have anything. I enjoy my range because I can basically, I can basically be like a young, something kind of young like this. It's about as young as I can even semi-realistically go. And then I can, get him a little bit older right in here and still keep it kind of real. Then I can make him a little bit older like this, like he's getting into later adolescence and stuff. Maybe young man in his early 20s, or maybe some people in their 20s are a little deeper like this in here. I can get a little older, throw a little rasp in there like that. I can get about to my natural range right here. If I want to make him a little bit bigger, I can drop it like that. I can bring in some more of that rasp and make him kind of a badass like this. I can even make him start pulling it up to the top of my throat so he gets a little bit older sounding, but not crazy old. And then if I want to, I can make him even older like this. Or possibly I could bring it this far and get much older as such. And even to the point where I'm on my deathbed and...
Oh no.
He's dead. He's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
I went too far! Ah! So, it's like, whatever I feel like doing at any given moment, I guess. But it's fun to be able to switch back and forth. I think that's the most fun. So I don't know if I have a favorite. I may have a favorite voice for a week or two, and then it moves on.
Do you ever find yourself doing, not scenes, but do you ever just, you'll be there driving in the car and you just talk to yourself in a voice and go, oh, wow, I'm good?
No, well, no. I could tell you I've never done that because it would never end with, oh, wow, I'm good. No, I like that you think I'm that confident. Actors, I don't know. I don't know how confident any of us are. A lot of us we're always looking for that approval. Hey, was that okay? Did you like that? Was that all right? I don't know. Speaking for myself, I don't think I've ever been like, yeah, I am awesome. That just does not happen. I like a lot of the work that I've done. There's some work I'm more proud of. And I might listen to something and go, yeah, I like what I did there. But that's about as arrogant as I think I ever get. But I do talk to myself in the car. Sure, absolutely. All the time. If I'm not, driving along, singing along with whatever's playing on the radio or whatever's on my iTunes shuffle.
You just mentioned in your earlier answer about the bigger, shoutier voices aren't really ones you like to do. That, because the strain would obviously quite limit, how long you could do it for. You've been in the industry for a while. Do you see an end in sight? Are you going to carry on until forever?
February. I'm going to stop in February. This February. It's coming February.
Whoa. What?
No. That would be weird, right? Yeah, I know. It just seems like a good time. I'm going to give it all up. No, I don't. And that's the cool thing about voiceover. I mean, if you love doing it, there's no age that you need to retire. I mean, if my voice gets to a point where I can no longer pull off younger characters, I'll just play older characters. You know what I mean? So I don't think if it gets super raspy, I'll play super raspy characters. If I don't have the same versatility as I get older. But I don't think I would ever retire. I think all I would do is if I get successful enough, I might just turn down some of the yelly, screamy roles. That would be about it. Yeah. The ones that I'm worried are going to hurt me or, then I would be like, you know what? I don't need to do that at this point. I'm doing this for fun, I'm financially secure now, not now, but this is in the future, But yeah, I don't think I'll ever retire. It's I love it too much.
Amazing. You so have me there. I can't believe that.
What would I do with all this insanity? I'm definitely insane talking to myself and making voice. I mean, where would I, you know what I mean? I need to express that one way or another, or my wife would kill me.
Oh.
She would be like, stop with the voices, please.
Was that your best impression of your wife?
That's exactly what she sounds like.
Oh.
It's weird. That's the case. It's weird. No. If I was going to do an impression of my wife, it would be what everybody does about their wife. Everybody breaks into the same voice. I don't know why that is. Why didn't you call me when you said you got that doesn't. My wife doesn't sound like that at all. But every guy does that when they're like, you're home late. They do, and every girl's like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. We all, I don't know why, no guy sounds like that and no girl sounds like that, but that's where we all go. At least that's been my experience listening to other people. I go, oh my God, your girlfriend sounds like my wife in my impression. That's so weird. Why do we all do that?
Small world. All right. So, segueing beautifully from you not liking shouty, loud characters, this year you voiced Torbjörn, the shouty, loud dwarf or not dwarf in Overwatch.
Yeah, he's not a dwarf. Come on, get this right. Come on.
I can't believe it.
Fill them up, pray come down. Yeah, he's a little shouty, but I don't know. He doesn't bother my vocal cords so much. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the amount that we record at any given time. Blizzard's really good about that. And it's a different kind of shout. I don't know. He's loud and raspy, but he's also compressed a little. I don't know if that makes sense. There's a compression thing I'm doing with my throat a little bit when I do that voice. So it's kind of when your throat's like all the way open, or you're doing a super raspy voice that you feel it more. But it's when it's really loud and you're just shouted and your throat's like all the way open. Those are the ones for me that are the hardest, like in the war games.
Yeah. What is it about Overwatch and Torbjörn and all its characters do you think that makes it so popular?
I'm going to say the only way I can sum that up is Blizzard, because I have to give them really all the credit because they spend so much time on every game. Like every time they put out a game, it becomes, if not the most popular game of that style, like in the top 3. I mean, that's like unheard of. That's ridiculous. So they really, I mean, not only are they incredibly creative, but they really spend the time and the energy to decide what they want to make and to really create it correctly and to take the time to do it right. I mean, I'd love to say, well, you know, we came in and we added the personalities and what have you. And that, I'm sure that's a factor in it, but you know, it's the gameplay and it's, they put everything together just right. And then they hand it to us on a silver platter and say, can you make this better? And we go, we'll try. But I give them full credit because they've done it so many times. This is not just like just chance.
Yeah. You can give a jokey answer or you can give a serious answer.
Okay, jokey answer. Go.
All right. If you could have voiced another character in Overwatch, who would it be?
Diva. Moving on.
All right.
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I think that would never happen. There's only, I think, are there 24 characters? Is that right? I'm not even sure what the full number is.
23, but there'll be 24 in the future, is fine. We'll wait till
Sure. So right in that vein, I would be surprised if anybody played more than one, just because there's no real reason to. I mean, in games that have, hundreds and hundreds of characters, many of us play multiple characters throughout the world. But I mean, if somebody could do it, I just don't know why they would. I mean, people are talented enough to. It's just, why not just get somebody that gives a whole new, brand new flavor? Is not even close to any of the other characters that are there.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking with Diva, though, just because it was the first one that came to my mind. Tell Charlotte I'm not trying to take her character away.
Oh,
she'll know.
What do you think about Torbjörn as a character or as a person? Do you like him?
As a character, he's great. As a person, man, he's a jerk. This guy, the other day we were chatting. No, I play Overwatch. I don't play as often as I'd like to. But I do play Torbjörn. I started because I was like, well, I better at least know this character. I better know my character. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that would be more fun. Let's see what he's like, and let's see how people react to him and what have you. I really like him. The truth is I haven't played a lot of the other characters so much because I'm really trying to – he's only like level 10 right now or something like this. Mm-hmm. So I want to build him up and get high enough so I can play with some of the big boys. I want to build it up so I can break it down. Yeah, I know. I was right there, wasn't I? But I like him. I think he's a fun character to play for sure. I usually go for like a long distance character, like an archer or something. So I assume like Hanzo would be my choice if I had no connection to the game. I don't know if I would. I haven't played him. Maybe I'd be like, I don't like playing this character. It doesn't work. But at first glance, he might be one that I would like.
You sort of set me up for my next question. Thank you very much. You mentioned that you play the game, and you play.
It's a setup. It's a trap.
Oh, right. You mentioned that you play the game. Do you ever, when your team's being lovely and telling you to uninstall the game or whatever happens, do you ever go on the microphone and speak to them as Torb?
I haven't really yet. And I'll tell you, I've told people this before, and this is my kind of plan here. Part of my being at level 10, as far as my understanding of the game goes, is they're matching me with like-leveled players.
Oh, right.
Right? So first off, at level 10, I'm not playing with people who they haven't played very much yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they'd appreciate it or recognize it. But my goal is to build myself up high enough by April because then on April Fool's Day, this April Fool's Day, I'm going to go online. By the way, I'm on PlayStation 4. I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna be leveled up high enough, and I'm gonna try to take the day off and make it an Overwatch day. And I'm just gonna shout out quotes at the wrong time. I'm gonna do other players' quotes. I'm gonna make up new quotes for Torbjörn, and I'm gonna just mess with people as much as possible. And I figure if I do it all day, maybe people will think there was some new weird download or something. Some update. There was some update that like, what, did you hear what he said? And hopefully I'll be playing with the players that would actually notice, like, that's not what he says.
Amazing. You should stream it. You get like so many viewers.
I will. I should. I mean, why not do that? I should do that. Can I stream the whole day?
Yeah.
I guess I could, right?
You can set it up. I don't know how to on PlayStation, but it's easy enough, and it just does it itself, as it were.
All right. Well, I'll have to do that then. That's got to be what I do. So that's my goal. I'm kind of training for that. So
training, like you got to practice your Torb voice. You can be as good as the real one.
Well, right? Yeah, I meant at playing the game.
Yeah.
Because I'd also want to be decent at the game at that point. So that's what I meant by practice.
All right.
No, I'll have a list by my side of all the quotes I want to do. So I don't even have to. Then if I think of one, on the spot, I'll do that too. But at least I'll have a list of the other players, like, ultimates and stuff. So I can just, call out at high noon or whatever I feel like doing.
Amazing. Right. What's it like working for Michael and Jeff and Andrea at Blizzard?
They treat us amazingly. I mean, they really do. First off, just on a professional level, they always explain everything to us. They never work us too hard. They give us breaks and, that whole thing. And just the way they treat us is fantastic. And then on top of that, they do great things like, I mean, a lot of your viewers, I'm sure, saw the video Johnny Cruz put up that we all did. That was at a rap party for Overwatch, which was at the Blizzard. A lot of people think it was BlizzCon. It was at Blizzard Entertainment's. Their campus is in Irvine. And if we went there, we were all invited there as a cast. We met all the designers and the writers for the game, which we were at least as honored to meet them as they were to meet us. So, I mean, it was a blast for all of us. I didn't know a lot of the other actors. It was my first time meeting most of them. We watched in their private theater. We watched all the shorts, all the films, and they fed us and gave us a whole tour. And I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, it was such a great experience. And it just doesn't really happen. I mean, in the industry, and they give, I mean, this is going to sound silly, but, even just when the game came out, they sent a copy to my agent. So I had a copy of the game. I mean, that doesn't happen. I mean, honestly, I think I've gotten a copy of maybe 5 video games of all the video games I've ever been in. Wow. You know what I mean? And probably the same thing for animated series and anime. It's the same, something like 4 or 5 of them or something like that. And it's a rare thing, and we don't need them. I'm not saying we deserve it. It's just you appreciate that extra, like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. They made us feel very, very special, and that our contribution to the game was worthwhile, and a big part of its success was their message to us. And it was really, 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 really nice to be appreciated like that. So
brilliant. All right. Hopefully this is going to be the super fun part. I hope.
Uh-oh.
All right.
We're still getting the parts that are more fun. Sweet. I like fun.
All right. What are your favorite voice lines for Torbjörn?
I like when he does the, like, some assembly required. I like that. It's cool. I guess I'm trying to what I remember. There's more than I don't hear him as much when I play as you would think that I would. I like when he does, like, my turret. It's cool. The aardvark pays off is cool.
Oh yeah.
Right. I guess the people think it's aardvark, so
yeah.
It's not. It's hard work. It's hard work. Aardvark pays off. So
well, I opened a thread on Reddit, like, saying, "Is there anything you want to ask Keith Silverstein?" And there was like a bunch of there was some really cool responses, and then there was like an easily 10. Ask him if aardvark
does hard work pay off?
Yeah.
Does hard work pay off? No, I love it. I get that all the time, but I it's great. I don't mind it at all. Right. And yes, it does. The answer is yes. It sure does. Right, what about you're making a chicken out of a feather?
That was, I think, a similar one. Wait, I'll check the thread while we talk.
They said, "How do you make a chicken out of a feather?" Well, you don't. That's the whole point. You're trying to make a chicken out of a feather. You can't do that.
Yet.
It doesn't work.
Yet. But through technology, anything is possible. Genetic research is getting better and better every year.
All right, so you mentioned that Blizzard took you to, or they didn't take you. They showed all the animated shorts.
Yes,
Torb is yet to get his own.
that is true.
Do you want there to be one? I guess you can't comment if there's one in the works, but do you want one?
Do I want one? Of course I want one. Are you kidding me? First off, I've seen all the shorts and they're amazing. And I mean this in the best way. They're like Pixar quality because to me that's like pretty much the ultimate to compare any kind of CG to. I mean, there's lots of different styles, but for me, like Pixar's just constantly quality. And these are up there, absolutely up there, in my opinion. And they're amazing. They're great. So yes, I very much would like one.
Amazing.
To make a short answer long.
Brilliant. All right, Torb is one of the few. He's not the only one, but there is a few.
I wonder if he'd like that. Torb. I don't know. Everybody calls him Torb. I'm sure he would like it. I don't know if he'd be like, call me Torbs or anything, but I mean.
Call me Torbs.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so Torbjörn is one of the few characters that doesn't have any native language voice lines.
Right, that's true.
Would you be down to bust out the Sverige to get some good Swedish for him on the go in the future?
I would be down with whatever Blizzard wants to do. If they have that I would just want to, and I'm sure they would too. We would just want to make them as accurate as possible. So hopefully they'd give them to me well ahead of time with pronunciation guide and stuff, so I could really do it justice.
Yeah.
And I'd be fine. I'd be fine with doing it. I mean, obviously I don't I don't speak Swedish, but I would give it my best shot for sure.
All right, amazing. Right, I've got the Reddit thread. Just
okay.
Before we close, I'll ask some quick fire questions. Well, probably not.
Oh yeah, quick fire questions. Here we go. Bam.
Oh, whenever you're set. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun.
No, it's fine. All right. How did you develop the voice for Torbjörn? Was it similar to something you'd done before, or is it brand new territory?
It was sort of brand new territory. It was very much in like the placement of the voice. I knew he had to be deep and kind of have a raspy thing. I mean, I looked at him and he looked like a dwarf to me. Mm-hmm. So, when I first got the description, I mean, whether he is or not technically. And, so I put it into that first, which is usually like a, Scottish thing, and so I went there first and then was like, okay, so cool. That's like the placement of it. And I took him a little deeper than I generally go. And I just said, well, let me try to just use that cadence, that Swedish cadence. And at the audition, I actually had like a monologue to read, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
Because when you're just shouting out like 4 or 5 words, it's a little harder to hold it's not just to hold the cadence, but you don't want each line to sound the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you're doing like a dirsty like that kind of, stereotypical Swedish thing, I'm just making it obvious. But if you're doing that, you can't do that same kind of cadence on every line. It's going to sound ridiculously stupid. When you're doing a monologue, though, it has a nice progression. So it was really nice to have more to sink my teeth into for the audition.
Yeah. All right. One of the questions is all caps, ahoy matey. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
One of the things with Torbjörn was, 2 of the things were focusing because that placement, I was used to doing a more of a Scottish.
Yeah. Like
whenever I went to that place, I did a Scottish dialect. So it was funny for me because I had to practice after I'd booked it. I was like, all right, I need to because I would slip into it, not in the session, but I would slip into that. So the 2 things for me to watch out, I got much better at it. And in fact, I got hired to do, after Torbs, I got hired to do a pirate because he's also close to the pirate vein. Yeah. And I got hired to do a pirate and I had to practice for like an hour the day before I went in because I kept slipping into Torbjörn because now I was used to that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so funny for me. So it's just a kind of a focus thing because sometimes the placement of your mouth and the shape you make, you keys all these subconscious things to make you sound a certain way. And I had to battle those a little bit.
Yeah. All right. This one says, everyone's going on about hard work, but what do you do to relax and unwind after a long day?
Hard play.
What do I honestly do?
Yeah.
Me? I sleep.
Oh.
That I do. That's boring. I love coffee. I'm a big. I'm a huge coffee fan. So I have my coffee to relax if I'm not going to sleep. and I watch my Netflix. I live for those. The Marvel Cinematic Universe on Netflix is fantastic. So when there's a new Daredevil season or Luke Cage or Jessica Jones or whatever, I'm like, oh yes! And so I watch as many of those as I can before I fall asleep. I have to eventually get to sleep, so I can't watch them all. So that's like I'm like really into that, Walking Dead and other shows, and I've got my shows that I watch, and that's usually how I wind down. Oh, and hobby-wise, the other wind down, like with friends and stuff. Hanging with friends is always cool, but my nerd hangout is Magic the Gathering.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've been playing Magic since like '94. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I have all those cool cards.
Amazing. You've actually been playing Magic.
You have? You play Magic too?
No. No, I said
what?
You've actually been playing Magic for longer than I've been alive. No.
Well, it's not. Listen, it's not one game, okay? I'm not. I don't mean I've been playing Magic one game since 1994. That would be ridiculous. I just mean I've been engaging with that game, like playing it here and there every once in a while with friends and stuff like that. I don't do tournaments or anything like that, but it's fun. I like it. It sucks up a lot of my money.
Oh no. Well, does it not get to a point where you've got them all, or you've got the best ones, or do they keep on bringing up better ones?
All right, well, here's the deal. I'll give you the deal. Here's what I need left. Out of all that there is basically out there, I have 8, count them, 8 more cards on my list. I have 8 more cards to attain, and then it's like Pokemon. I've caught them all, except with Magic. And yes, there's always new cards coming out, but it's very easy to get the new ones. It's harder to get the old ones.
Oh.
Yes, because they are expensive and rare and difficult to find.
Set up a PO box, someone will love you, I'm sure. All right. So, what sort of stuff, music-wise, do you listen to on your iPhone when you're out driving?
When I'm out driving, the soundtrack. This has been a tough year for me because the soundtrack of my life, basically, if I had to choose one, would be very easy. It would be Prince. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Prince fan in terms of the music and stuff. Have all of his songs, everything that's been released. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of unreleased songs, which are out there and can be searched for online and obtained. And so this was a big blow for me. I'm lucky in the sense that he has so many unreleased songs that even since his passing, I've probably got another 20 or 30 songs that I had never heard before that are fairly decent studio recordings. They're not all remastered and everything, but they still sound pretty damn good. So,
amazing.
I mean, they're not all great songs because they're unreleased stuff, but I mean, quality wise, it's not like it's not all fuzzy and terrible to hear. I mean, I'm like, that sounds pretty good, great.
Well,
but
right.
that's my main listen.
Wonderful. Right, quickly before we finish.
Yes.
What's your favorite cake and what's your favorite ice cream?
Weird. That's the end all be all right there.
Yep.
Really?
We ask it to
That's
everyone.
where you're going with. That's what we're closing with. What's my favorite cake and ice cream? And I assume you want specific. You don't want me to go birthday cake, right?
You can do what you want, and everyone will love it. I'm pretty sure.
Let me just say, if the right girl pops out of that cake, it doesn't matter what kind of cake it was. And I've never had a girl pop out of ice cream though. Okay, so that's my cake, the cake with a girl in it, and the ice cream. Lactose, baby. My favorite ice cream is going to be some kind of non-dairy ice cream. Darn it! I actually don't. There's not even a lot of good non-dairy ice creams. They suck. What? Ben & Jerry's has 3 flavors that are pretty good for non-dairy. They're pretty good. What I do when I have an ice cream fix. Me and my weird specific answers, I'm going to give it anyway, is I when I have a fix, I get the closest thing I can for me, which is I can't get a shake, like a milkshake, but what I can do is I can go to Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, right? And I get a large caramel ice blend with almond milk, no whipped cream because I can't do that, and I get an affogato shot, which is it's a cold blended drink, and they pour 1 hot espresso shot on top of it, smooths it out, and it has the right consistency. It doesn't taste like an icy. It tastes like a coffee shake. It's fantastic.
Amazing.
So when I need my ice cream, I know that's not ice cream, but that's where I go because that's as close as I can get.
Oh no!
I miss my ice cream.
It'll be fine. So you mentioned, you say you miss your ice cream?
I miss my ice cream.
So you at one point were not lactose intolerant?
Yes, yes. Listen, it happens to a lot of folks in their 30s, and being 32, wink, wink. It happened to me a couple years ago.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, trust me, I drank milk like crazy, and cheesecake and lasagna and pizza and all the great stuff that nowadays I have to find other ways to deal with, other alternatives.
Oh no way.
So don't cry for me, Argentina. It's fine. I'm still happy with my life. It's all good. But yeah, it was a little bit of a bitch, but then you just go, okay, well, there's lots of other cool stuff, so
Exactly.
I'll figure it out. It's better than being either sick or, not being able to breathe out of my nose if I'm all congested from drinking milk, and then I can't record because I don't sound right for anybody. So that's no good.
Brilliant. Thank you so. Oh, sorry. What was that?
Oh, I was the cure for cancer, but it's not important. Go ahead.
Oh no.
I can't remember it now. It's gone. It's gone. It's already gone.
Oh no.
I hate when that happens. That's the third time this week. I'll figure it out at one point, though. I promise.
Amazing. All right. So, what's the best way to find out what you're up to in the future?
I suggest psychics, and actually some of them are really good. It's not all of them steal your money, and then you can just ask them. Say, "What is Keith Silverstein up to?" No, of course not. You gave me an opportunity, and I went with a stupid answer. Damn it, Keith! Stop. I can't focus at all. This is why I have a script in front of me usually, because I cannot focus. If you want to find out what I'm doing, the best way right now is Twitter. On Twitter, I'm at SilverTalkie. That's Silver, then Talkie. So SilverTalkie, the way you would spell talkie is in walkie-talkie. Or Facebook, which I'm not on as much, but every once in a while there, Keith Silverstein, voice artist. Those are probably the two best ways to find out. As soon as I can announce things, I try to. Everything's so hush-hush and secret and stuff, but as soon as I can, I put stuff up there to let the world know. I don't know if the world cares, but somebody out there, a few people care, and that's all that matters.
You mentioned this very hush-hush. Have you got anything coming up that you can share anything about, or is it all too lip-sealed?
Let's see, is it too soon to talk about the next Star Wars movie? Oh, shoot, I probably should. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say anything about that, so I won't. I don't know what there is. I'm trying to think of what, that I can. I mean, really the stuff that's on now. So, I mean, if you guys want to check out some of the stuff I'm doing now, right now on Toonami on Cartoon Network on Saturday nights. I've got, we had Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans just finished up, but we're starting up the second season of that. Hunter x Hunter is on that right now. I think One Punch Man is still playing. And JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And then coming up, I think in early January, Gundam Unicorn is, Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn is going to be starting up on Toonami. So I know those are happening and they've been announced and everything. Sometime this week, there's supposed to be a Miraculous Ladybug Christmas special. I'm not sure when that's airing. I'm told it's on Netflix and YouTube. I don't know much about it, except that I'm in it. But so look for that. It's in the next few days. It's got to be before Christmas. Why would anybody schedule it to be released after Christmas? That's weird.
Brilliant. All right. So we know how we can find you online. Is there a way to find you in person? Are you going to be at any cons in the near future?
I'm doing a Pennsylvania con coming up, and I can't remember the name of it right now. But it's coming up next month in January, and it starts with an S.
Amazing.
And I can't remember what it's called right now, so I'm so sorry. I apologize.
We'll find it, and I'll link in it.
Find it and let people know. And obviously, as soon as I go, I'm going to know what it's called because I'm going to meet everybody. But I grew up in Philly, so I'm excited to get out there. That should be really cool. I haven't been there for a con at all, so I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
Should be really cool.
Brilliant. Lastly, thank you again so much for speaking to me.
You are very welcome. It's been fun.